We're doing our Bechdel Test segment. The Bechdel Test is a measure of representation of women in film and other fiction. In Alison Bechdel's comic strip, one woman explains that she only goes to a movie if it satisfies the following requirements. The movie has to have at least 2 women in it. They need to talk to each other, and they need to talk to each other about something other than a man. Does the Materialist pass the Bechdel test?
It does. It does
It
because
does.
of the scenes between Lucy and her colleagues, I believe.
Yeah, and the most clear scene for me that confirmed it to me was the scene between Sophie and Lucy, where Lucy is apologizing to Sophie, and Sophie is basically telling her she betrayed her. They are just talking about their relationship and the trust that they had. So it passes the Bechdel test. There's other scenes as well between women. I think her and her employer talking about the legal ramifications of what has happened. So it passes the Bechdel test. It does a disservice to women by continuing this trend of not showing women that have other women as their community.
Yeah.
But it passes the Bechdel test.
And again, I think that's the reason why I don't like these sorts of movies, because in an effort to get through the love story between a woman and a man, it decides to completely erode everybody around, both characters, to be fair, but especially the woman character.
On the subject of gender, I do think that Celine attempts to preempt the critique with that scene with the bride at the beginning of the movie, where the bride is like, I can't believe that I'm really just conforming to this, that, and Lucy convinces her that no, that this doesn't take away from that. And she goes and has her magical wedding after. And again, I was just like, it fell flat to me because that was the only time I saw 2 women really getting into this like that in the film. Because Lucy doesn't have any community. So I don't really properly get to see her unpack how she feels about this stuff with any woman she actually trusts or has a real history or relationship with. She does have some moments with Sophie, but Sophie is her client that she just met a few weeks or months ago. So it just falls kind of flat for me. So it's just kind of frustrating. One of my favorite films of all time is The Naked Feminist, which is a documentary that shows the debate between second and third wave feminism about sex work. So I enjoy media that shows how different women have different stances on how we navigate the patriarchy. And I want to believe it's something Celine Song can do, but unfortunately this film doesn't show that to me.
This movie is actually very misogynistic, I would say, because women, first of all, the movie calls Lucy a materialist, but it doesn't once show us her being a materialist.
Not really.
Again, it conflates the desire for stability with materialism, and it's just not the same thing. It's almost like a teenage boy wrote this movie at times.
You never see her obsessing with any specific object markers of wealth.
Yeah, exactly. And the movie is telling her, well, it's telling women really that we need to compromise, okay? But if you look at the case of John, what does John really compromise on here? Absolutely nothing. He's still going to be broke. And in fact, it even exposes the fact that he's actually part of the reason why he's broke, because he chooses not to do work that he considers to be beneath him. I grew up with a very poor father. My dad was an immigrant, and my dad had to go and do cleaning jobs when he came to our host country, because it wasn't beneath him. He needed to earn money to support his family. So again, here comes this white man, he's not an immigrant. He's refusing to do work and is putting pressure on his partner, and he just doesn't give a damn. And the movie doesn't critique it even once.
What would you give The Materialist out of 10?
I can't give it any more than a 4.5.
How can you consider that to be a mid movie? That's bad.
But that's mid to poor. I said mid to poor, so 4.5.
Yeah, I would give it a 5 actually. So I thought I would have a lower rating than you, but I would still just give it a 5. The reason is because for me to give a movie a really truly low score, I need to be angry that I watched the film. I'm not angry I watched Materialist. I'm just kind of disappointed and slightly bored.